Long ago, in a land where the desert stretched farther than the eye could see, there existed a great kingdom filled with ancient cities, bustling markets, and tall minarets that reached toward the sky. During the day, the streets were alive with merchants selling spices, silks, and precious stones brought by caravans from distant lands. And at night, when the desert winds grew calm, storytellers would gather beneath glowing lanterns to tell tales of adventure, magic, and forgotten kings. But among all these cities, there was one greater than the rest. At its heart stood a magnificent palace made of marble and gold, and within that palace ruled a king named Shahryar. He was once known as the wise ruler, strong, intelligent, and respected by all who lived in his kingdom. Yet in those days, the people no longer spoke of the king with admiration. Instead, they spoke of him only in whispers, for something had changed within his heart, something that filled the kingdom with fear. Years before, the king had discovered a terrible secret. Someone he loved deeply had betrayed his trust. The pain of that moment struck him like a blade. And from that day forward, King Shahryar believed that no one in the world could be trusted. His sorrow slowly turned into anger, and that anger hardened into a terrible decision. The king made a decree that shocked the entire kingdom. Each night, he would marry a new bride, and when the sun rose the next morning, the bride would be sent away from the palace forever. The king believed this was the only way to protect his heart from betrayal. But the people of the kingdom saw only cruelty in this strange and fearful rule. Soon, the once joyful city fell into sadness. Fathers began to worry for their daughters. Mothers whispered prayers late into the night. Families who could afford it fled the city entirely, hoping to escape the king's terrible command. The Grand Vizier of the kingdom, the king's most trusted advisor, was given the sorrowful task of bringing a new bride to the palace each night. And each morning he would leave the palace with a heavy heart, for the people blamed him for carrying out the king's command. Yet the vizier himself was powerless to stop it. He feared the king as much as anyone, and so the shadow of fear spread across the kingdom like a dark cloud over the desert. The vizier had 2 daughters. The elder daughter was named Scheherazade. She was known throughout the city for her intelligence and curiosity. From a young age, Scheherazade had loved books and stories more than anything else. She spent her days reading ancient histories, learning about distant lands, and listening to travelers who came from faraway kingdoms. She collected stories the way merchants collected treasures. Stories of clever heroes, stories of magical creatures, stories of wise rulers and foolish kings. Her younger sister, Dunyazad, often listened in wonder as Scheherazade shared these tales late into the night. But as the terrible decree of the king continued, even the house of the vizier was filled with sorrow, for Scheherazade knew that many innocent lives were being lost, and she could not bear to watch it continue. One evening, as the sun disappeared behind the dunes and the first stars began to shine above the city, Scheherazade came to speak with her father. The vizier sat quietly in his chamber, his face tired and troubled. Scheherazade approached him calmly.
Father, I wish to ask something of you.
You know I would give you anything. What troubles your heart?
I wish to marry the king.
My daughter, you cannot mean this. You know what happens to the king's brids.
Yes, Father. And that is exactly why I must do this.